Welcome back to another episode of Moonacre Creations. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I make fantasy art and costumes of all kinds. Today's project will be based on the character Enoch from Over the Garden Wall. I'm going to be making him into a maypole. If you've ever seen one of those or maybe done one at a Ren fair, it's kind of like a decorative pole with ribbons on it that you can dance around and you wind it up as a sort of activity. So the project today will be making one of those, but it's also functional as a costume that you can hold the pole or put it in the ground. So without further ado, let's get started. So to get started, you're going to take a punch balloon. I got these at the Dollar Tree. There's like 4 in a pack, and you're going to blow it up as big as it can go in order to get that volume for the head. So I think that's pretty much as big as it can go. You may be able to find bigger punch balloons on Amazon or something if that's what you need, but this is going to be sufficient just for today. And so here's the design for Enoch. I'm going to be making the head out of the big balloon and also making a little half circle shape around the base to give more volume at the bottom of the neck so it doesn't look so flat hanging down. So I'm going to blow up another punch balloon, slightly smaller, to create kind of his shoulder area. So I'm going to start off by covering the shoulder area in a half circle with paper mache, and how I'm doing that is I'm taking my paper. The paper I'm using is the big printer paper that I use to draft my patterns on. I'm repurposing for this, but you can also use computer paper, newspaper, or sometimes I even use the packaging brown paper from Amazon packages. And you can just rip it into strips. You're going to want to rip with the grain of the paper. You can tell it's not the grain if it rips diagonally like that, but if it rips easily in long strips, then you can tell that you're going in the right direction. The size I like to do for my paper is right about this big. It's probably 1 inch or a 1/2 inch, although you can have different sizes for better coverage, whatever you think is working the best for you. So next you can pour your glue. I got this generic craft glue from Michael's. You can probably get it at any big department store or Amazon. And you're just going to pour that into a container in a little glob, big enough that you can dip the strips into it. Next I'm going to take my balloon and secure it to the table somehow. You can tape it on. What I like to do is put a little tape through the rubber band it comes with and tape that to the side of the table so it won't move. And you can take another rubber band or a piece of tape and tie it to the other side of the table just to keep it in place, because they do like to move around a lot. So next you're going to take your strips, dunk them in the glue, get them pretty saturated, and then start applying them to the balloon. For the bottom layer, I like to use a lot of glue to make sure that it is getting a lot of coverage and it'll be stronger in the end. And then for the second layer, I use a little bit less, and that will build up the strength over time. Now that there's 2 layers on every piece of the project, I'm going to go ahead and hang them up to dry. Make sure if you're doing this project you have an entire day to do it, because I'm going to put another 2 layers on top of everything after the first 2 layers dry to ensure that everything is secure before the balloon inside will shrink. So it's the next day and it seems to have dried. You'll know it's strong enough when it's making kind of like a hollow ringing sound. So what I'm gonna do now is try to shape it. So I'm gonna pop the balloon inside, and then I'm gonna try to collapse these sides in a little bit to get more of a rounder shape. And then I will be sculpting on the face and everything for Enoch, and adding all of the detail. I also have the neck area done. It seems to be a little less sturdy, so I'm going to add another layer of paper mache, and then all I'll have to do to finish this is paint it and put a hole through it so it can go on the pole. So I've gone ahead and collapsed the sides a little bit, and now I'm going to add some more paper mache strips all along to create sort of more of like the natural pumpkin shape and to cover up these chasms in the side. And I'm also going to start kind of sculpting on the mouth and the eyes. I'm going to be using a 2x2 board to hold up the form when I actually put it out, so I'm going to need to make a way to stabilize it around the board. So I'm going to cut off half of this bottle and put it inside the head to kind of make it fit over the pole and keep it stable when it's all put together. Okay team, now it's time to paint this. It's super solid. You're going to want to make sure you can knock on it with a nice hollow sound before you paint it to make sure that it's strong enough. Also, this little attachment should also do that, but everything seems to be looking good, and I'm going to start painting. Okay, actually I'm not going to start painting right now because I was just looking at pictures of Enoch, and there's a lot of them have this little black cat on top of them. So I think I actually want to add a little black cat for some extra character first, and then I'll paint. So to make the cat, I'm just going to build up kind of a cat shape with some paper balls and then cover them with really small paper mache strips and kind of just make a simple little cat that way. You could also use like styrofoam balls if you wanted to, but this is just the way that I do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark the lines with a marker, and then I'm going to start painting. I have regular old acrylic paint to use for that, and I'll probably put some type of like darker layer on first and then cover over with the top layer of orange or black. I've just finished putting all of the details on him. He's pretty much done. I'm gonna spray him with a clear coat, and then that'll be all done for him. So next I'm going to move on to doing his neck area. So for the stick, I'm going to be using a 2x2 board. So I'm going to cut a little hole that's approximately that size in the center of it, and then I'm going to paint the inside black and cover the outside with fabric. So I'm going to let this dry, and then while it's doing that, I'm going to make the little cover that goes over it. So I'm just going to cut a circle out of this green fabric and then cut a hole in the center and attach it to the dome when it's ready. So this is what it looks like finished. I put on the ends, the corners of the piece of fabric, I attach them together on both sides so that when it goes over the pole, they can kind of interlock and keep kind of a rounded shape around the pole, because this part is like a under part kind of. The ribbons will go over it, so it will be hidden a little bit. I didn't want the fabric to stick out between the ribbons, so this is my solution. So I've made about 20 or so of these strips. Now I'm going to attach them to the base in kind of like a spiral. I'm going to overlap them one color after the other around here, and then sew them around the center and around the edge. So now that I've kind of fitted them around the form, I know how many I'll need. So I'm going to take them off and line them up overlapping in a straight line and put a straight stitch through, and then when that's like one piece, I'm going to attach them to the form. So now that this is done, I just want to show you guys I have sewn every piece together. That'll keep it kind of fitted around the form, keep it from blowing around in the wind or anything. And if we wind the maypole as a game, it'll kind of keep each piece in place instead of just twirling around the pole. I've also, in a few locations, attached the like tendrils to the base material. So I have the head and the neck here, and I'm going to work on making the pole that they'll both go on. So I have an 8-foot 2x2, that'll be the base. I'm going to take these two scrap pieces and attach them where the neck piece will meet the board in order to keep it up. So I've just fitted the head and the neck onto the pole, and I've just marked where the neck will meet the head, and that's how high I'm going to be putting the little blocks of wood to hold up this part. So what I'm going to do is pre-drill these two little blocks through the center and into the board, and then put a 3-inch screw into both, and that should keep everything up. The last thing I'm going to do for this project is spray paint the pole brown to hide it a little bit, and then it will be time for the reveal. So for the critique, I just have a few items to go over. The sides of the head are kind of flat because when I condensed the balloon, kind of flattened it too much, and I think it is noticeable in real life. Many people probably wouldn't care that much, but I see it, so maybe if you're making your own, just be sure to round off the edges more before continuing to create the form. One other thing just to point out is I wish I had made these little tendrils longer, because you may have seen in the reveal they don't go all the way to the ground. I think if this project is going to be functional as a costume or a maypole, I'm going to lengthen these tendrils by 15 inches or so to make sure that they actually reach the ground. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with this project. I like how shiny he is. I got a lot of compliments on him at my Halloween party. People seem to like the details of the stars in the eyes and the cat. I probably will not ever remake him the way I'm probably going to do with my pumpkin head next year. Hey, this is me from the future. You may be wondering why during the reveal there wasn't any clips of him being used as a maypole as I intended, and that is because on the day of my Halloween party, when everybody was together, it poured rain. So I wasn't actually able to get any clips of that, but maybe next year I'll be able to make some content about it and maybe improve him a little bit. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I should have one more video out after this of my Halloween costume, so stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.